History remembers grand narratives, the sweeping tales that shape our understanding of the past. World wars, revolutions, empires rising and falling. These are the events that dominate our history books and collective memory. Yet some conflicts, despite their profound impact, fade into obscurity, overshadowed by more recent or more dramatic events. The War of the Spanish Succession, a sprawling struggle that engulfed Europe and beyond, is one such conflict. It was a war that involved nearly every major power of the time. It determined the fate of nations, reshaped the political map, and echoed through the centuries, shaping the world we know today. The war's outcomes influenced the balance of power in Europe for generations. Yet, it remains largely forgotten, a footnote in the grand tapestry of history. The reasons for its obscurity are many, but its significance cannot be overstated. The year was 1701. Europe was a continent on the brink, with tensions simmering just below the surface. The ailing King Charles II of Spain, childless and on his deathbed, ignited a continental powder keg with his final breath. His death set off a chain reaction that would plunge Europe into chaos. His will, bequeathing the vast Spanish Empire to Philip of Anjou, grandson of the powerful French king Louis XIV, shattered the fragile balance of power in Europe. This decision was not just about inheritance, it was about control and dominance. England, the Dutch Republic, and the Holy Roman Empire, fearing the potential unification of France and Spain under Bourbon rule, united to challenge the will and the ambitions of the Sun King. They formed a grand alliance to counter the growing threat. The stage was set for a conflict of unprecedented scale, involving complex alliances, vast armies, and battles that would rage across continents. A war that would decide the fate of dynasties, redraw the map of Europe, and leave an indelible mark on the course of history. The consequences of this war would be felt far beyond the battlefields. This is the story of that forgotten war, a story of ambition, betrayal, and the enduring power of national destinies intertwined. It is a tale that deserves to be remembered, for it shaped the very fabric of our modern world. To understand the War of the Spanish Succession, one must delve into the intricate web of European politics and power dynamics that preceded it. This conflict was not merely a result of isolated events, but rather the culmination of decades of rivalry, ambition, and shifting alliances among the great powers of Europe. For decades, the continent had been locked in a delicate balance, with rival powers vying for supremacy. The political landscape was a complex tapestry of treaties, marriages, and wars, each move carefully calculated to gain an advantage or to check the ambitions of a rival. The once mighty Habsburg dynasty, ruling over vast territories from Spain to Austria, had begun to decline. Their influence waned as internal strife and external pressures eroded their power. The decline of the Habsburgs created a power vacuum that other European powers were eager to fill. France, under the ambitious Louis XIV, sensed an opportunity to expand its influence and challenge Habsburg dominance. Louis XIV, known for his grandiose vision and relentless pursuit of power, saw the weakening Habsburgs as a chance to assert French dominance in Europe. The Spanish throne, with its vast colonial possessions and strategic importance, became the focal point of French ambitions. Control over Spain meant not only dominance in Europe but also influence over the New World and its wealth. Louis XIV, known as the Sun King for his dazzling court and absolute rule, saw the opportunity to unite the thrones of France and Spain under his grandson, Philip of Anjou. This union would create a Bourbon superpower, altering the balance of power in Europe dramatically. This prospect sent shockwaves through the courts of Europe. The idea of a united Franco-Spanish empire under Bourbon control was alarming to other European powers, who feared the implications for their own sovereignty and influence. England, the Dutch Republic, and the Holy Roman Empire, wary of French expansionism and the potential consequences of a Bourbon superpower, began to forge alliances to counter the perceived threat. These alliances were not just military but also diplomatic, as nations sought to build a united front against French ambitions. The death of Charles II of Spain, the last Habsburg ruler of Spain, provided the spark that ignited the tinderbox of European tensions. His death without a direct heir left a power vacuum and a contested succession, setting the stage for a conflict that would engulf the continent. The War of the Spanish Succession was a clash of titans, a battleground where legendary military commanders and ambitious monarchs left their mark on history. This conflict, which spanned from 1701 to 1714, was not just a struggle for territorial gains, but also a fight for influence and power in Europe. The war saw alliances formed and broken, and the fate of nations hung in the balance. On one side stood the Duke of Marlborough, a brilliant English general whose strategic acumen and tactical brilliance earned him a place among the greatest military minds of all time. Marlborough's leadership was instrumental in several key victories, and his ability to outmaneuver his opponents on the battlefield was unparalleled. His campaigns were characterized by swift movements and decisive actions that often caught his enemies off guard. On the other side stood Marshal Villars, a French commander known for his tenacity, his ability to inspire his troops, and his deep understanding of military strategy. Villars was a formidable opponent, and his leadership was crucial in several key engagements. His ability to rally his troops and maintain their morale in the face of adversity was a testament to his skills as a commander. The early years of the war were marked by a series of bloody battles that raged across Europe. These battles were not only significant in terms of their immediate outcomes, but also in how they shaped the strategies and tactics used by both sides. The intensity and scale of these early engagements set the tone for the rest of the conflict. The Battle of Blenheim, a decisive victory for the Grand Alliance led by Marlborough and Prince Eugene of Savoy, shattered French hopes of a swift victory and established Marlborough's reputation as a master tactician. This battle was a turning point in the war, demonstrating the effectiveness of the Grand Alliance's strategy and the skill of its commanders. The victory at Blenheim had far-reaching consequences, altering the course of the war and boosting the morale of the Grand Alliance. The Battle of Ramillies, another stunning victory for Marlborough, further weakened the French position and solidified the Grand Alliance's hold on the southern Netherlands. This battle showcased Marlborough's ability to execute complex maneuvers and his keen understanding of battlefield dynamics. The success at Ramillies reinforced the Grand Alliance's dominance and underscored the importance of leadership and strategy in determining the outcome of the war. Section 4. Turning Tides, Unexpected Alliances and Strategic Shifts. As the war dragged on, the fortunes of war shifted. New alliances were forged and old ones crumbled. The entry of Portugal into the war on the side of the Grand Alliance opened up a new front in the Iberian Peninsula, further stretching French resources. The death of Emperor Leopold I of the Holy Roman Empire and the ascension of his son Joseph I injected new energy into the war effort on the side of the Grand Alliance. However, the war was taking its toll on all sides. The staggering financial burden of maintaining massive armies and fighting on multiple fronts began to strain the resources of even the wealthiest nations. The Battle of Malplaquet, one of the bloodiest battles of the 18th century, resulted in a Pyrrhic victory for the Grand Alliance, highlighting the unsustainable nature of the conflict. Section 5. A Moment of Truth, the Pivotal Battle. The Battle of Denain, fought in 1712, marked a turning point in the war. Marshal Villars, seizing a strategic opportunity, launched a surprise attack on the Allied forces, inflicting a crushing defeat that shattered the myth of Marlborough's invincibility. This victory breathed new life into the French war effort and shifted the momentum of the conflict. The tides had turned. The Battle of Denain exposed the growing divisions within the Grand Alliance. The change in leadership in England, with the Tories, who favored peace, replacing the Whigs, who supported the war, further weakened the alliance. The death of Emperor Joseph I and the succession of his brother Charles VI as Holy Roman Emperor and claimant to the Spanish throne complicated matters further, as it threatened to undo the very balance of power the Grand Alliance sought to preserve. Section 6. Echoes of War, Immediate Impacts and Global Transformations. The War of the Spanish Succession finally concluded in 1714 with the signing of the Treaty of Utrecht. The treaty, a complex document reflecting the intricate balance of power in Europe, redrew the map of the continent. Philip of Anjou was recognized as King Philip V of Spain, ensuring the survival of a separate Spanish throne but dashing French hopes for a unified dynasty. The war had profound consequences for the global balance of power. Great Britain emerged as a major naval power, gaining strategic territories such as Gibraltar and Minorca, and securing its dominance at sea. The Dutch Republic, though victorious, emerged from the conflict weakened and financially drained. The Holy Roman Empire, though retaining its territorial integrity, entered a period of decline.